do a lot of foul shit. Like behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit, like hating on, like doing things with people I done business with that he done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it.
Decision had already been made. The courtroom's lights went off, and the media hysteria began to shift. It's possible that Diddy thought the chaos had temporarily stopped, allowing him to finally take a breath. But as stillness seemed to be closing in, 50 Cent made a reappearance. This time, the fire was sparked by a video rather than court filings or news releases.
Should start looking gray if you ain't got nothing on it.
Got a new baby oil, bro.
This ain't baby oil.
Nigga, you ran through 8,000 jars of them in prison, man. You know, Nasty Larry.
Relax. I still got everybody looking.
50 Cent is making a comeback to the spotlight, making fun of Sean Diddy Combs by using an artificial intelligence-produced movie. This time, Diddy appears in the video pretending to be a baby oil figure. The narrative mentions the baby oil that was seized from Diddy's homes during his legal troubles. But that's only 50 Cent's latest statement.
Diddy Combs and 50 Cent. These two go back a long time. They have been rivals for a long time. And this week we learned that, at least from Diddy's side of things, this feud apparently went far beyond words. 50 Cent's name came up during the testimony this week of Capricorn Clark. She is a former assistant of Sean Combs who went on to become the head of marketing for his Sean John clothing brand. Clark rose successfully and professionally through the ranks of Diddy's world during her time working for him, which stretched between 2004 to 2018, so she saw a lot. Clark claimed that Diddy would threaten her, and she says he even kidnapped her in 2011. All of this matters as we build up to how 50 Cent kind of factors into what she said on the stand. Now, Capricorn Clark started working for Bad Boy.
And that wasn't just any video. It was an odd and agonizing sight deliberately designed to be as dehumanizing as possible. An AI-powered creation that swiftly gained widespread popularity online. Fundamentally, Diddy was not the actual Diddy, but rather an eerily lifelike computer doppelganger. He was promoting a fake baby oil brand while dancing lavishly nude and smeared with baby oil. Similar to an absurd Super Bowl commercial, completely uncontrollable. Behind him, towers of bottles gleamed in mocking headlights. The aftermath of that infamous raid was turned into a macabre comedy as the turmoil was portrayed in a deep-faked voice that was eerily similar to his own. The timing was awful. Even as 50 Cent's scathing parody transformed relief into yet another embarrassing storm, Diddy thought the decision would help him restore his reputation.
That's surprising, since Death Row was ran by perhaps Diddy's most hated enemy, Suge Knight. Clark said that one of her good friends had a baby with Suge Knight, and that's how she knew him. And in perhaps the most shocking story from her testimony, Clark claimed that shortly after she started working for Diddy, Diddy and his security guards took her to Central Park after dark, and Diddy said, quote, "He told me he didn't know that I had anything to do with Suge Knight, and if anything happened, he would have to kill me." It is an allegation that paints Combs as someone who is ready to take a life. But as Capricorn Clark's testimony continued, she brought up another rival of Sean Diddy Combs and another allegation that he made an ominous threat of violence. Clark testified, when working for Diddy, they went to a press event at MTV and 50 Cent was there. And just wait until you hear what she says Diddy told 50's manager. 50 Cent's real name is Curtis Jackson. He rose to fame in the early 2000s. You might remember songs like In the Club. You might remember that he was the leader of the rap group G-Unit. Now, 50 grew up in Jamaica, Queens, New York. Diddy, also a New York native. He was born in Harlem, grew up in Mount Vernon, New York, just about 20 miles away. And even though they both had success in music, they both rose to fame representing the city of New York and the rap scene there, they have been longtime rivals. In 2006, 50 Cent released a diss track about Diddy. So almost 20 years ago, this goes back a long way. And in that diss track, he says, quote, "Who shot Biggie Smalls? We don't get 'em. They gon' kill us all. Man, Puffy know who hit that expletive. Man, that expletive soft." Now 50 is accusing Combs there of knowing who killed his friend, the notorious B.I.G. Christopher Wallace. Wallace and Puffy were incredibly close, but Wallace was shot and killed in a drive-by shooting in Los Angeles in 1997, and no one has ever been charged for pulling the trigger. This all happened during really the height of the East Coast West Coast rap rivalry of the 90s, which involved Suge Knight, who we mentioned earlier. 50 Cent has also accused Diddy of orchestrating the murder of death row rapper Tupac Shakur, who died in 1996 in a Las Vegas drive-by shooting. This is Dwayne Keith D. Davis. He was arrested in September 2023, and he is the only person facing charges related to Tupac's murder. But 50 Cent has continued to push the allegation that Sean Combs either knows something or did something for Tupac to end up dead, though Diddy has denied that. But in a 2023 Instagram post, 50 wrote, "Damn, so Pac got lined by Brother Love, LOL, time to lawyer up, expletive might get sticky," with a pic of Suge Knight in a car with Tupac. Diddy, who has a lot of names, Puff Daddy, Puffy, Puff, and Brother Love is one of those other names. Now from Diddy's side of things, again, he's denied having anything to do with Tupac's murder, and he's also denied having anything to do.
The release landed with the accuracy of a blow. Just one caption, no lengthy tirade or too thorough explanation. Even if you have 1,000 bottles of baby oil, be sure you are getting enough water for your ego. After only one line, the internet went crazy. After millions of views, the AI clip quickly dominated every channel. It did more than merely trend. It dominated. There were far too many reaction videos on YouTube. Memes spread like wildfire. In the constant barrage of TikTok remixes, fans looked for hidden jokes. It wasn't just a joke. It was a serious injury because the raid was still known to all. The images that went viral showed a room full of baby oil boxes, giving the impression that the scene was in a strange warehouse. Anxiety followed, and the memes were suddenly unpredictable. Keep quiet. However, 50 Cent dealt a terrible digital hit a few months later, bringing everything back into the spotlight. Did he too? The effects were apparent right away. According to insiders, he damaged and destroyed a laptop as soon as he saw one. Others claimed that he became angry and abruptly departed a meeting mid-sentence. His team rushed to seize control of the story, but it was too late. Online, the video had become unbreakable. The skit was being reenacted by TikTokers. Even big organizations began to make money off of the joke after celebrities shared it along with their own comments. There was no stopping the cultural wave. 50 Cent used satire as a weapon as well as a way to annoy people.
On Monday, also in New York, making an appearance on the Drew Barrymore Show.
What are you looking for? And do you know what you're looking for?
Yeah, but just real friendship.
Friendship, but not with Diddy.
You ain't a friend of mine. You ain't no kin of mine.
50 posting a sweet picture of him and Drew on Instagram, but the caption tells a different story.
I have a lot of fun.
Here I am keeping good company with the Drew Barrymore Show, and I don't have 1,000 bottles of lube at the house.
I'm not panicking. They are.
50 referring to the over 1,000 bottles of lube and baby oil found when the feds raided Diddy's home in March. One of many details revealed in his now unsealed indictment, which laid out the charges for his arrest.
I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
While Curtis gave his 2 cents on the situation,
People love tragedy. You know, more than they love good news, no matter how you look at it.
Diddy's attorney, who maintains the rapper's innocence, tended to a media frenzy Tuesday morning.
I expect we're going to have an arraignment at some point later today.
This office is determined to investigate and prosecute anyone who engages in sex trafficking, no matter how powerful.
Unable to resist, baby oil companies use clever references in their marketing to take advantage of the viral trend. The mockery had unavoidably and unrelentingly spread all over the planet, but there was a burden beneath the joy. Nor was it merely a meme. It acted as a prompt. Diddy had barely escaped the most dire legal repercussions, but the spoof made everyone confront the disturbing truth. The raid, The odd facts and the rumors are still unresolved. 50 Cent wasn't kidding around. The world had to look anew because he was redefining the conversation. The follow-up was a straightforward film in which 50 people laughed continuously for 30 seconds before grinning. Not even the video itself is featured here. Watch to see what comes next. It wasn't just a joke. It was a warning shot.
When he was asked about a beef with 50 in a 2018 interview with the radio show The Breakfast Club, Power 105.1 FM.
Hey, yo, I don't have no beef with
I don't know why.
With Fifth. He loves me. He loves me.
Do y'all really
can't
have a
see
beef?
it? I mean, y'all can't see it.
No, we can't see
Y'all
it,
can't see
man.
that he loves me?
But see,
you really, hold on, you really think that's hate?
If you look at 50's social media, you can see he has a lot of posts about Diddy. And this is what he posted the day that federal agents in Miami raided Combs' mansion ahead of his arrest on the charges that he's now on trial for. 50 Cent posted on X, "Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case." 50 Cent also included a link to his G-Unit clothing brand in that post. While Diddy in the Breakfast Club clip said that 50 Cent actually loves him and there was never a beef, on the stand this week, Capricorn Clark said otherwise. Clark said that she was at this press event at MTV with Diddy and 50 Cent was also there, all of this happening in New York. Clark said, quote, "After the interview wrapped up, myself, Puff, and Chris Lighty got in the elevator." Clark said that Lighty was an entertainment manager who, on paper, was managing Diddy at the time, but was also 50 Cent's manager at the time. Prosecutors asked Clark what happened in the elevator, and she said, quote, "Puff told Chris, because they were having some sort of issue, like, I really don't like all the back and forth. I don't do that. I like guns." The prosecutor then asked, "What's the issue with an individual?" And Clark responded, he had an issue with 50 Cent. She said Combs was very serious when he said that. In this case, it has become common to hear testimony from witnesses about alleged threats by Diddy. In fact, several witnesses have said that Diddy regularly threatened to fire people, to beat people, like his former girlfriend Cassie Ventura, and in this case, making a threat involving firearms to settle a dispute, per the testimony of someone who was one of his closest associates for more than a decade. Invoking gun violence and some sort of veiled threat, that could be scary for some, but apparently not 50 Cent. On Instagram, 50 posted right after his name came up in the courtroom, quote, cut, wait a minute, Puffy's got a gun? I can't believe this. I don't feel safe," with a picture that looked like an AI image of 50 Cent on a movie set looking serious. And he wasn't done. Shortly after that, he posted another AI image on Instagram of him in a Yankees hat with a very scared look on his face with the caption, "Oh my goodness, itty bitty Diddy wants me dead. I have to lay low." Sad face emoji. "I think I'm gonna hide out at the playoff game tonight, LOL." Then the next day he posted what he did that night. He went to the NBA playoff game between the New York Knicks and the Indiana Pacers in Indiana. And you can see him here in a picture on the floor in a shirt that reads, quote, "Free Diddy," playing into the trolling that 50 Cent has done to Sean Combs over the years, even before Combs was ever accused of what he is on trial for. Now, Combs' trial is expected to last another.
Grew larger the more Diddy's staff tried to bury it. Every takedown note has backfired, and obsession replaced curiosity. 50 Cent was aware that it was a heightened manifestation of the Streisand effect. He didn't object, didn't say anything, and didn't give an explanation. The rest of the comments were taken over by the internet after he only used fire emojis. He did not require a jury or a judge. He didn't require an affidavit or sworn testimony. Culture was louder than any courtroom, and he had it. The only person Diddy lost to on this new battleground has always maintained control over his image. His legacy has become a meme thanks to a single viral caricature. He was a digital caricature, a joke about his own company, and the baby oil guy instead of the impenetrable magnet. To make matters worse, this was just the start. He was far from done, as 50 made apparent. There were more clips awaiting them. There are more jokes available. Each one is more lethal, more humorous, and sharper than the last. Did he too? He had no protection. Laughter is not something you can use. A meme can never be silenced. It's already over when the internet starts making fun of you. Then the knife was twisted by 50 persons. He took advantage of the ridicule. 100 bottles of Club limited edition t-shirts. AI-produced sweatshirts with Diddy's image. Coffee cups bearing the slogan "Stay Greased." They sold out completely. In a matter of hours, sarcasm became fashionable thanks to influencers who wore it live on camera. The humiliation had gone from being digital to actual. It was no longer merely a joke. It was profitable and a movement. Meanwhile, Diddy's lawyers scrambled. Letters of cease and desist were sent out. A claim of defamation was made. Threats of lawsuits emerged. However, they doused the storm with gasoline rather than reducing its speed. The media covered every legal threat. Each attempt at a reaction just served to spread the meme. A court ruling could not reverse the cultural judgment that had already been made.
Like those, so it gives the jury less options to find him guilty of racketeering. It gives the prosecution less options to argue when it comes to a closing argument. And by the way, it goes back to a question we got earlier today during the lunch show. Somebody had said, how come the jury just doesn't get the jury instructions at the beginning of the case as opposed to the end of the case? Well, let's see what's presented. Let's see what's actually shown during the course of the trial. There might be insufficient evidence to actually move forward with some of these charges or some of these elements. So it's interesting. Now, what about sex trafficking? What were the arguments that the defense made for why the sex trafficking should be thrown out? And by the way, let me just say this. For the prosecution's point of view, they are arguing that Jane and Cassie were victims of sex trafficking, that Combs used force, fraud, or coercion to induce them to engage in sex acts with male commercial sex workers. Something of value was exchanged. There is a transportation element to it as well. What did they say? What did they argue for why this should be thrown out?
Well, everyone has to remember that Sean Combs is charged with 2 counts of sex trafficking, count 2 and then count 4. Count 2 kind of involving alleged victim number 1, that being Cassie Ventura, and then count 4 involving alleged victim number 2, that being Jane Doe. So in terms of their arguments for count 2 specifically, Alexandra Shapiro said, you know, the key element here is what Sean Combs knew, and that they allege that Cassie didn't really communicate her reluctance to doing these freak-offs or hotel nights, as they were later called, that under count 2, the defense says that the relationship was toxic for many reasons, something that they've been kind of talking to all the way dating back to the pre-trial stuff. And the defense also kind of pointing out, you know, they acknowledge that Sean Combs was, according to Alexandra Shapiro, she used the words regrettably violent. And so it's something that the defense acknowledged throughout the course of this trial, going all the way back to openings where they, you know, they say that Sean Combs, and they admit he was violent with his girlfriends, and in this case, Cassie. And the defense says domestic violence is not evidence of sex trafficking, something that I think a lot of people who have been following this case on social media, some people think this way. But in terms of count 4, in relation to alleged victim number 2, that being Jane, the defense says that the evidence is insufficient and that Mr. Combs couldn't have known that Jane didn't want to participate in these hotel nights. Alexandra Shapiro said the evidence showed that Jane was willing to participate. Again, going back to just some...
The internet jumped in when it sensed weakness. The conflagration was too much for news outlets to ignore. It developed into the monologues of late-night comedians. Comedy networks produced the sketches. It started out as a meme, but it has since gained popularity and developed into a comprehensive case study of pop culture on how to harm someone's reputation. 50 Cent was unrelenting as well. He started to play back old video of uncomfortable interviews, dubious sound bites, and situations that had been written off but were now viewed in a worse light. In light of the scandal, Diddy's entire background became dubious as the significance of each repeated video grew. The podcast tour followed. 50 appeared everywhere, chatting with guests, making up tales, and leaving mysterious hints, such as "I've been told y'all just didn't want to listen." In addition, each interview concluded in a predictable manner. 50 grinning cheekily as he looks at the camera. Await the follow-up. It required mental effort. He didn't have to accuse him directly. He merely pushed. The remainder was handled by the internet, which created fan theories, edited remixes, and established the linkages. Before vision turned into reality, the boundaries were hazy. The feeling was indisputable, not because anyone had evidence. Furthermore, in today's society, feelings always prevail over facts. Diddy's silence, meanwhile, became unbearable. He disappeared from existence. Media not as a tactic, but as a way of life. No answers, no words, no appearances. It was possible for any image to become a meme. Each sentence might be sliced, twisted, and used as a weapon. His kingdom started to fall apart. Brand alliances broke up. The negotiations for the tour fell apart. Appointed appearances vanished silently. He began to lose the support of even his closest allies. No one was interested in losing a meme war. And with smug accuracy, he saw it all fall apart at 50. One post in particular surprised everyone. An infant oil bottle with the words King of Slick, with more than 5 million likes. The picture transformed the jest into a legend. There was no mistaking the subtext. This was not a legal justice case. It had nothing to do with retaliation. It was about taking control of the narrative and owning the story. 50 Cent had taken full possession of it. Diddy was experiencing the worst setback of his career in the online arena that today forms reputations. Even though he may not have received the most severe punishments when he left court, the worst thing was that the story was not yet complete. 50 continued to promise a second installment. Furthermore, if Diddy's reputation had been ruined by the first blow, it might have been buried for